Hey, fourth grade, hope everything's working out so far with this distance learning. All right, time for the next lesson. Last video we ended off with assigning some questions, and I'm going to go over some of the answers real quick. So first, starting out, we had 5 quarts is that going to be less than, greater than, or equal to 5 cups? Well, if I use the reference sheet, I know that 1 quart is 2 pints, and one pint is 2 cups. So really a quart holds a lot more liquid than a cup. So that means if the numbers are equal, that 5 quarts will be greater than 5 cups. All right, for number 2, I have 5 cups and 3 pints. So looking at my reference sheet, I know that 1 pint is, looking at the reference sheet, lost my spot, is 2 cups. So 3 pints must be 3 times 2 because that's 3 groups of 2, and that would be 6 cups. So 3 pints is 6 cups, so 6 cups is greater than 5 cups. Then I have 18 pints into gallons. I'm going to want to change those gallons into pints, but before I do that, I need to first change gallons into quarts. Well, 1 gallon is 4 quarts, so 2 gallons would be 8 quarts. And then if I'm looking at 8 quarts, well, 1 quart is 2 pints, so multiplying it by 2, so 8 must be then 16 pints. So 2 gallons is the same thing as 16 pints. Which one's greater? That would be 18 pints. All right, number 4, straight up conversion. I have 9 pints equals how many cups? Well, 1 pint is 2 cups. 1 pint is 2 cups, therefore 9 pints, I have 9 groups of 2 cups, so that'd be 9 multiplied by 2, which is 18 cups. 9 pints is the same thing as 18 cups. 16 quarts is how many cups? Well, I'm going to have to change quarts into pints first. There's 2 pints for every quart, so 16 quarts, that would be 2 multiplied by 16, which would be 32 pints. And now I could change my pints into cups. For every 1 pint, I have 2 cups. Since I have 32 pints, that would be 32 multiplied by 2, or I could do 32 plus 32, and that would give me 64 cups. So 16 quarts is the same thing as 64 cups. And then the final one that I'm going to go over, I'm going to walk you through 2 gallons equals how many pints? Well, 1 gallon is 4 quarts, so 2 gallons, for every 1 it's 4, since I have 2 that would be 8 quarts, and I need to know quarts to pints, 1 quart to 2 pints, since I have 8 quarts, each one is 2 pints, and I wrote 2, that would be 8 multiplied by 2, which is 16 pints. So that would be 16 here. All right, questions 8, 15, and 16. Here are the answers for you. Filling in the chart, it would be 2, 4, 6, 8. 15, the correct answer was D. And then these were the true ones. If this was an A, B, C, D, E question, I believe that was A, C, and D. All right, so that was yesterday's lesson. For today's lesson, we're still going to continue on the customary system. So we're still using this top part of this section. Now we're going to be dealing with weight. So we're going to be using this section here, these facts. All right, so the first question I have is that my son weighed 8 pounds when he was born. How many ounces did he weigh? Well, let's look at that reference sheet. And I can see that 1 pound is 16 ounces. 1 pound is 16 ounces. So when we're changing from pounds to ounces, our number is going to get larger. For every 1 pound, there's 16. Since I have 8, that would be 8 groups of 16, or 8 multiplied by 16, and that would get me my ounces. So doing this over on the side, 16 multiplied by 8. 8 multiplied by 6 is 48. 8 multiplied by 10 is 80. When I add these two partial products together, I get 128. So 8 pounds is equivalent to 128 ounces. So we're doing that same, it's not the same exact conversion because it's different numbers, but we're still multiplying our numbers because our units are getting smaller in size, so the number is getting larger. All right, so numbers 1 and 2 looks like we're doing some comparisons, and I have 10 pounds and 10 tons. Well, if I look at my reference sheet, 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. So if you can imagine 10 tons, that would be 10 multiplied by 2,000. That's going to give us a pretty large number. It would actually give us 20,000. 10 pounds, well, that's even less than 1 ton. 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. We have 10 pounds. That's less than a ton. So which one would be greater? Well, those 10 tons would be greater. All right, number 2, comparing these. I have pounds and ounces. Well, let's change our pounds into ounces because we know 1 pound is 16 ounces. So 4 pounds, that must be 4 multiplied by 16 because I have 4 pounds, each pound being 16 ounces. And I could do that with an area model. I have a 4 on the side. I'm going to decompose 16 into 10 and 6. 4 multiplied by 10 is 40. 4 multiplied by 6 is 24. So now when I add these together, I get 64. 4 pounds is the same thing as 64 ounces. So which one's greater now? 64 ounces or 25 ounces? Well, 64 ounces is going to be greater. Number 3, I have 32 pounds is so many ounces. So I'm going to do exactly what I just did right here. I'm going to have to change these pounds into ounces. Again, using my reference sheet, 1 pound is 16 ounces. So I have 32 pounds. That means I have 32 groups of 16 ounces, or 32 multiplied by 16. All right, I'm going to solve this with an area model. So it's a 2-digit number multiplied by a 2-digit number. I'm going to need to decompose both numbers. So I'm going to do kind of like a window looking thing. I would have 30 and 2, and then 10 and 6. So a little review from the beginning of the year. Now I'm just going to multiply what's on the side and the top. 30 multiplied by 10 would be 300. This one, 30 multiplied by 6 would be 180. 2 multiplied by 10 would be 20, and 2 multiplied by 6 would be 12. So now all I have to do is add all of these partial products, making sure I'm lining up my numbers nice and neatly, regrouping if we need to, and we get 512. So 32 ounces is the same thing as 512. Sorry, if I said ounces, I'm sorry. 32 pounds is the same thing as 512 ounces because I'm doing 32 multiplied by 16. 16 ounces in a pound. Number 4, I have 7 tons equals so many pounds. Well, if I look here, 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. Every time I have a ton, that's 2,000 pounds. So since I have 7 tons, that would be 7 groups of 2,000, or 7 multiplied by 2,000. We know this answer is going to have 3 zeros at the end, 1, 2, 3, and now all I have to do is just multiply my 7 by my 2, and I get 14. So that would be 14,000 pounds. So when we're talking about these conversions, all of these numbers are different because that's just a downside of the customary system. We have to remember 1 foot is 12 inches, 1 mile this many feet, so on and so forth. There's no real pattern to this, but the process is still the same when we're converting from one to the other. So this was now our 3rd day of being in the customary system, so hopefully by this time you're really starting to get a hang of it. So for our homework assignment that I'll be going over in the next video tomorrow, again, it's going to be found in Teams, under Files, Class Materials, and it's going to be in the Measurement unit. And this one's going to be titled 13.3 Customary Weight. It's going to be questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 15, and 16. Some of you may have been noticing the ones that I'm skipping have the fractions in them. That is outside this 4th grade standard, so that's why I'm not having you guys do that one. That's a little beyond what we really need to know. Again, don't forget to use your reference sheet. That's kind of like your cheat sheet. It's what I always go back to because I certainly don't have how many yards are in a mile memorized. I would go to this. Hope this helps. And again, if you need any help, email me contact me any way that you can. All right. Thank you guys.